Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, what do these tea leaves have to say? And so the card tonight, which every reading I pick a tarot card, often from the Thoth deck. And it kind of helps me figure out what the tone might be. Maybe some kind of motif that might appear within the reading, just a general vibe. And so we have the Ace of Wands, and this card is often related to kind of new opportunities, courage, excitement, passion, creativity, lots of creativity, the urge to make, seek, execute new things, start new businesses, creative projects, relationships, you name it. Okay, so we have, it's really interesting because we have, sometimes this happens and it is so interesting to me because when there's an element to reading tea leaves or any kind of divination or scrying, looking at something like smoke, reading smoke or reading, wax or whatever. There are a lot grains, corn, pieces of corn, whatever it is. There are a lot of different ways to read, or a lot of different mediums to read. And so you it's somewhere between seeing the formation, seeing what they kind of actually look like, and then, like, what is it? What do these different patterns kind of evoke in us? Well, sometimes though, it literally repeats. It's interesting. It's not just left totally to interpretation or, perception. But these, there's a person here holding some kind of animal. And then up here, we have another person holding some kind of animal. And it's just kind of bizarre sometimes. This must be a really important thought message coming through. And it looks like, whoever this is, they have kind of picked this thing up. This one looks like it's kind of by its leg. This one reminds me of maybe a possum or something, grabbing it by its tail. And let me just say, shout out to the possums. They are amazing. They keep the pests down in your yard. They're not mean, so don't be mean to them. They're not scary, so don't be mean to them. They are an asset. So just wanted to mention that. But yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. For me, it really makes me feel like this is kind of like sticking your hand in those dark waters, right? And getting down into that unconscious sea of symbols and, allegories and the things that we kind of carry in our collective unconscious, these archetypal symbols and stories and myths and the relationships that we have with them, how they affect our creative pursuits. And I almost feel like you are kind of going out there, going hunting for parts of this project that you have been working on. I think your creative potential right now is through the roof. I think that you are feeling very inspired. I also think that you probably will be starting a new project if you have not already. But I don't think that this is necessarily something that has just recently been conceived. I think that this is something you've been wanting to do for ages. I think it's something you've been thinking about. It hasn't all come together. There have been other things going on, life, right? And it just has never kind of aligned with your ability to allot the time and effort to doing this thing. But whatever is going on, you seem to have gotten into this place where you know, you really are going to put yourself into this thing. And now this could be a business. This could be, like I said, a creative project or artwork, music, writing, creating, you know, some kind of craft, whatever it is, maybe even doing kind of both. Maybe you're creating something and you're doing something like starting an Etsy business, or teaching people how to, you know, do like sewing or something. You know, maybe even you have like your own YouTube channel. I don't know, but I think that you finally are like really, you know, ready to kind of put a lot of effort to get this thing going, to get it rolling. And I think that it's the perfect time. I feel like it's going to be more successful than you imagine. I think that all of the things are kind of there for you to kind of really capture the moment, capture this good energy, this auspicious energy, and get very active during this cycle. And kind of like, you know, I think of like a hunter-gatherer. Go get your catch, right? Go get this animal and drag it home. And, you know, and so I also see we have, I think it's called a scythe. I always kind of mix them up. There's like the curved one, and then there's the sickle. This is the sickle. So this is kind of related to Chronos or death, right? The archetype of death, the archetypal imagery of death that we have, the kind of shrouded figure that carries around the sickle. And the sickle is used in harvest, and that is used to kind of cut down wheat when it is ready to be, I forget what it's called, but there's a certain name to harvesting wheat. I don't know what it is. Maybe one of you do. You all have been super helpful. My last reading, or a couple readings ago, somebody helped me think of what a dartboard was called. I could think of the word bullseye. I couldn't think of the actual board. So shout out to that lovely person. But yeah, so I don't know what the technical term for harvesting wheat is, but this is what that's used for. I think that it also, not unlike the image of the hourglass, the kind of sand, you know, coming through the hourglass and your time kind of being spent, right? This is the kind of reminder that at some point everything is finite, right? Everything comes to its ending point at some point, right? So I think that this is kind of just also a visual to remind you to get moving. You know, that you're going to fall out of this alignment of the variables coming together for you to work on this this project and for it to be something as you kind of imagine it, right? A lot of things in our life have to do with timing, if we want to, realize that or not. Sometimes we wait too long. Sometimes we're a little too early. TT, this cat, she's meowing it up, you guys. And so, let's see, what else do we have? We have a 9 right here. Okay. And I also have an arrow here. Okay, and let's see, where is that going? We have another arrow right here. This one looks even more phallic though. But the phallic symbols, especially the masculine phallic symbols, I think really are in line with that creative, well, I mean, look at the, you look at the Ace of Wands. This is very phallic, okay? And definitely has that kind of energy, the fiery, creative energy, the seed coming from the fire, the eruption of the fire, and so on. So I think that this really just is in line with that. But I think that really we have all of these arrows, and this one even seems kind of curvy here. And where are we going? And then more kind of phallic. So, I almost wonder, trying to just, I almost kind of wonder if, I almost wonder if this was something that you were going to work on with somebody previously that was probably a masculine person. And I feel like this is maybe partially why this project or business, creative thing never really happened. There was kind of a lot of maybe just misconnections. Maybe this person who you were partnering with, they just were not coming through. Maybe it was kind of a tumultuous, creative relationship. I don't know, but I think that they're out of the picture. And I think that's why these, it seems kind of just like they're going nowhere, these arrows. And I feel like we have this smiley face here, and it's almost kind of winking. I really feel like this is not a sad thing. I think this is maybe partially why you have come into a place where you can actually get this thing done and do it well. There is more of a calm environment. You are more focused. I think that you have more maybe more resources, or resources are more readily available to you because this person is out of the picture. Whatever it is, I think, this is not a bad thing. Okay, now I'm also seeing this little dog, and I feel like this is in this kind of metaphysical, spiritual, where we get kind of messages from people who maybe have passed. And this is kind of unrelated to the previous part of the reading, but I feel that with this dog, I'm getting this impression that there's somebody who is maybe older in your life, who maybe they have a dog, they had a dog that it was like their baby, and maybe this animal has passed on, or for some reason they can't have their dog anymore. But it was a big blow to them. And I feel like there's a lot of loneliness surrounding this loss. And I think that this message in this placement is that you should reach out to them. And I think that they definitely would not ask you to come see them or tell you that they're feeling kind of lonely, forgotten, maybe by the family, or, everybody's busy, and they're probably retired. They maybe are living in some kind of facility or something. And, it seems like maybe their companion is not with them, their dog. So I think that maybe if you could go and see them, especially if they're close to you, making time to be with them. If they're not, maybe making time to call them. If they are, savvy with the phone or whatever, and they can do a video call, maybe something like that. But I think that just you doing this for them, to be with them, is a very lovely thing. And I think it will make a lot of difference in how they're feeling. I think this, of course, when people get older, and this is the thing, we kind of talk about it, but not really enough. That a lot of people in their older years, especially if their spouses died or, their friends have passed on, family members are, of their generations and above, they're probably maybe gone as well. And kind of everybody they grew up with is not around or is not accessible to them. And they feel very alone. And then maybe their children and their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, everybody has lives. Everybody's busy. There's a million things going on. And I think that a lot of people get forgotten in the chaos of life. And I don't think it's unusual for people to be very isolated, especially, if they become homebound or they're living in a assisted place, but maybe they don't want to be there. Maybe they're not very social with people they don't know. But whatever it is, it's so detrimental to anybody's health, of course, but the mental health and just the state of their interior life, I think probably can be pretty difficult because they're lonely, they just they want to connect with somebody. So I think making those efforts, having those connections, of course we can't do it for every single person in our life, right, or that we've ever known, but if you could be there for one or two people, I think that it's so important for us to be of service to the folks in our communities and our families, setting aside any kind of differences if that's possible, and not letting people live the end of their lives alienated from the world. I mean, gosh, I think about that a lot. I grew up with my great-grandmother and my grandmother who had Alzheimer's, and I was, fairly young, but they lived with us, and I kind of, over the years watched that progress, and just even my great-grandma, who was still really, like, very lucid and very intelligent, just such a lovely person, she would tell me, she was over 100 when she died, she would tell me that, the world had changed so much, and everything she knew didn't make sense anymore. Things that they thought were impossible had come to pass in such a short amount of time. And, technology, both of the the Great War and the Second World War and all the other wars past that. But, you know, just watching all these advancements happen in such a short amount of time, and feeling left behind by society because, you know, they grew up in just a whole other reality. And, you know, I think that that is always kind of true, right? To some degree. Even myself, there's so many things that younger people do. I have no idea what these things are. These, you know, video game things and different social media things and whatever. So it's easy to feel like you're out of touch with what the majority is doing, right? So anyways, it's good to be a lifeline to our elders where we can, right? And I think that's, you know, that might be a calling to you right now. Even if this is not somebody in your family, just somebody that, you know, maybe you worked with them, maybe they were a neighbor, maybe you even just go and volunteer, to go, you know, visit people, at an assisted living place or whatever, at your church, or, you know, whatever it is that, you know, where you could be of service and fellowship with your community and so on. Okay, so let's see. I feel like, you know, I feel like there's just this imagery of kind of a duality here. And it really is just a choice of making these things happen. This creative project, you know, being with this older person in your life, or not, right? You can decide not to do these things. And, you know, that's fine as well. But, you know, these are things that the universe are providing to you right now. And, you know, as abundant as our lives are, and the universe does always provide, it is not often that we are given the blessing to start something new and have the time, resources, and will to do so. So hopefully that, you know, all comes together for you, Aries. Okay, so that's our reading for tonight. And I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And I say we because we as a community are growing this channel one person at a time, and we're doing pretty well at it. Other than that, if you have not liked, or if you have not subscribed to the channel, please think about doing that too. You can hit that little bell icon thing. It'll let you know when the next videos come out. Every week I do a reading for each sign. So Aries will be out in about 7 days. And in between now and then, you can watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, Venus. Do some cross watching if that interests you as well. And other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read every single one. I try to get back to them in a timely manner. Sometimes it takes me a day or two. Sometimes it takes me 10 minutes. It just depends. But yes, I appreciate every single one of those messages. Okay, thank you, and we will talk again really soon.